Looks like we are live. I will wait till I start rambling too heavily. Make sure everybody is here. How do I make that? Oh, there we go. Shrink that. And actually, my brain is just stopped. It's not because I'm waiting for everyone to be here. I'm waiting to make sure audio is working as it shows on my end. That's where there's always questions. I'm tired. It's been a long day. New tree frog babies came today. Again, making sure I'm going to wait before I get started. Let me know if you guys are hearing me. There's always a delay. It looks like my audio is good. Waiting to see. Okay, good. Joseph says audio is live, video is live. Am I recording? I still appreciate that you asked me that. I mean, I'm not, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Just before we get started, if you are here looking for just straight out tutorial, like actual, just straight art lesson, Patreon is really what's going to interest you more. With these live streams, this is where I get to hang out with you guys and we chat about the most random of things. Like I'm about to tell you about my cute little baby tree frogs. So just make sure, or just letting you know before you start complaining, because it's not you guys here watching live. It's always like after the fact, someone is complaining that I talk too much. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. It's a live stream and a chat. That's why it says chat in the description or title. It says chat somewhere. I don't know. I think it says in both. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know that. George said, I really wanted to say and watch, but I have a headache. Oh, and I'm excited and feel really bad because your streams are always so great. Oh, I hope you feel better. I'm sorry you don't feel well. Headaches are no fun. That's one of my things I tend to get easily. I can relate. Today is not one of those days though. So we're going to be, or I'm working in acrylics and you're working with whatever you want really. This palette I love. All my supplies, by the way, linked in the video description. This is the Masterson's palette and inside is my New Wave glass palette. It fits perfectly in there. Come on. And this works kind of like a big Tupperware where it seals out the air. And so areas where I blended, this is Patreon's Sun and Stars. Hold on. Having issues over here. Things are all tangled up. I should probably just organize these cables one day, make it easier. I'm not going to, but I should. With these, or with the paint, this is actually the painting that I did 2-3 nights ago. And it's still like that right there is still, I don't know if you can see, it's still wet. I should move this where you can see better. So that is why that's one of the reasons, one of two major reasons I love this setup. The other thing is cleaning it is really easy. So this paint, when I don't want that anymore, I just take a glass scraper. We are going to scrape that out of the way so we've got room to blend. And I keep just a wet paper towel off to the side in there, and that helps to keep the paint wet even longer. But it is such a convenient setup, because I used to use tin foil wrapped over a pie tin. I've also used those little like actual plastic art palettes. When you need to clean it, you have to even the ones that let you peel off the dry paint, you have to let it dry first. It's just not practical. This is such a better setup. I don't need that paint tonight. We'll just remove that. So get this out of the way. Let me throw that away because I'm going to get chunks of paint all over the place. Grab some fresh paper towels for this. Okay. Let's see. DJ28 said, OMG, your frogs are so cute. Hi, Lisa. Hi. Thank you. They are the cutest, tiny, tiny babies. They're like, I slept like crap last night knowing they were being shipped. So luckily, they got here early enough that I didn't have to stress all day long about it. I was able to take a nap after. I could sleep once I knew they were here. But they're so cute. Tiniest. I got little red-eyed tree frogs for my vivarium. If you're not already following me on Instagram, head over there. If you look at my story, I've got photos of some of the frogs and what their future house will be. Right now, they're in that little 10-gallon. It's a quarantine kind of tank that is easy to clean to make sure that they're healthy and eating and everything's good before I move them into their very, very large tank where I'm going to have a hard time finding them. So, yeah, if you want to check them out, they're the baby, like so tiny little red-eyed tree frogs. Paul said, I used liquid white oil paint, but is it still wet? I used liquid with oil paint, but is it still wet after 24 hours? What should I do? Should I wait for another day or at least a week? if it's still really wet after 24 hours, you didn't use more liquid. You probably put the paint on super, super thick. That's the only reason it would still be wet. So you're just, I mean, I can't tell you how long you have to wait. It depends on how thick it went on there. Let's see. Hello, Shiny said, oh yeah, I want my money back so many times. I watched the whole stream like every week and didn't learn anything. And the best part was the people, when they complain, I'm like, did you want a refund? Like, these are free. I don't know. Like, the complainers are just amazing. Let's see. Get caught up on some questions and we'll get started here. Naomi said, I know water-based products over wax is not archival, but would it be archival to use gouache over watercolor pencils? Yeah, that you can do. Gouache is watercolor. It's just opaque watercolor. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. Lee said, hi everybody. Hi, Lee. Eric said, I went out on a Saturday and bought some Inktense pencils after watching the tree frog video from last week. They're my new favorite pencils already. They're so fun. That's so cool. Did you get the one with the dolphin on the tin? Let's see. Alana said, so excited for tonight's chat as Van Gogh is my favorite artist. Also, today is my birthday. Oh, happy birthday. It's already been an awesome day, so this will top it off. 10 p.m. here in Trinidad. Well, happy birthday, Alana. Brixel said, yay, I finally made it to your stream. It's a bit hard because of the time zones. Yeah, it definitely is. Nick said, will the frogs grow any larger? Yes. The males, I don't know whose males or females, if I have all of them. I don't know what I have yet, but they're too little to tell. But the males will get up to about, I want to say 2.5 inches or so. And then females get to like 3.5 up to 4 inches. So they'll get quite a bit bigger. They're only 8 to 10 weeks old right now, and it won't be until they're about 10 months old that they'll be more, pretty close to mature. Within a few months, they'll be close to their like adult size. Let's see. Kimberly said, I love your attitude with it's not bad, it's just not finished, which applies to everything. I personally do not believe in last minute preparation or impromptu. I need a week. Eric said, yes, I got a dolphin tin. That's the one. I don't know if you knew this. I drew that. I painted that guy. Kishav said, I apologize for butchering your name, said, hello from India. It's always good to be in this interactive session. This time I was lucky to be in a live session. Today, my day will be good. Oh, that is awesome. Welcome. Okay, so getting started. I am working on a Fredericks. This is a watercolor canvas board. This is the back of it. I was trying to get my white balance to work. I don't know. You can see the old rainbow. I'm just painting. I gessoed and I'm working over an old one. So I need to get some more canvases. But anyway, just for transparency, let's try that in English. Just for transparency, I am sponsored by Fredericks. They were already the only canvases I used, so that didn't change any of my choices. But they did provide me with the canvases that I'm using. So with this one, this is a watercolor canvas board. It's going to be very, very smooth, which is great when you're doing tons of fine detail. For this style of painting, honestly, depending on how thick you're painting that paint, you could use a rough canvas, you could use a smooth canvas. It's really going to work for you either way. So you should be okay with just about any texture to it. So like a Fredericks Red Label or their Dixie Pro, like the really heavy canvases, the really bumpy ones, those would be fine for this style. Or again, like what we're doing here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get a base so I'm not fighting against the white of the canvas. So we'll get that done and then I'll come back. It looks like, where are we? Minel said, I did the fireworks from a while back using pastels and I added a cute little owl and a branch in the bottom right hand corner. It was so much fun. That is awesome. Nick said, so they're just post polywog. Yes. Babies. Paul said, is it raining? It is not. Why does it sound like it is? No, the air conditioner or the heater, I think, is on. Maya said, can you use airbrush paint over acrylics? Yes, you can. These are golden. Yep, absolutely. Thank you for all the improvement you give us. It's really helping my art. That's awesome. But yeah, the airbrush paint, I do consider it basically acrylics. Like it's different, but you can put it on top. No problem. I do it all the time. Monica said, Mom says hi. She's in the hospital. Aw, I hope she feels better watching on the nurse phone. She said she can't miss her girl. Aw, feel better. I hope you're doing well. You should demand cake. Ask the nurse to get you cake. If you're in the hospital, like when I was in the hospital, they had cake. I couldn't have it because I have celiac disease, but they had a lot of really good gluten-free things that were like, ask for cake. Eat cake for me. Let's see. Susie said, so excited for today's session. Love Van Gogh. Me too. Hello, Shiny said, hi Lisa, nice to see you. I'm watching with lunch. I have fresh duck eggs on toast with the pink sparkling wine. Wow, that sounds fancy. It's stormy today, but Lamb is braving the rain to eat grass. Oh my gosh, I need to see photos of that. Paul said, my paints are ready. I'm all set. Let's go. Okay. We must do as Paul has commanded. Okay, so I just need to get a background color. I think I'm going to go ahead and just do a blue for the upper 2/3, and then the bottom I'm going to do yellow ochre will be fine, or even a violet would work as a base there. I just need to have 2 colors so I don't have that like just white. It just makes it easier when we start letting our brush strokes show. Do I need more paint out? May as well. And I'll mix a little bit of white so these aren't too dark. I just want kind of a mid-range. I don't really care if you don't have to do these same colors. We just want to get something on the canvas. And like I said, I'm going to add a little bit of white with that so it's not like, whoa, that's dark. So there we go. I'm using phthalo blue, and I'm just going to do about the upper 2/3 for the blue. I do not care if my brush strokes show, but I do want the white covered. I mean, we're going to be intentionally adding a lot of brush strokes to this, so there's no reason to try to be super careful there. If you're too dark, too light, doesn't matter because we're going to be adding so many layers over this, it won't make a difference. Now, one thing I will tell you, I'm just marking out so I know the only reason I just painted the edge is so I'm sure the canvas stays in focus on camera. But anyway, you don't have to do that. The early layers of this will look like absolute crap. Like it's really not going to look good. So don't be frustrated whenever you paint this more impressionistic style. At least when I do it, I find I don't like it until like the last 5 minutes. It really does go through some ugly stages. Now, when I said your brush strokes, it doesn't matter if they show. Still try to keep them kind of side to side so we don't have like a bunch of vertical strokes we're trying to hide later on. So I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I'm going to go with the violet. Well, I've got a bleached titanium white. Let's just throw some of that in there. Again, I don't really, let's throw yellow in there too. I don't care. I just want kind of a muddy color here. Ooh, that's good and muddy, almost orange. That works. I just need a base. Again, it's all going to get covered. I don't care if these 2 colors blend together. We've got to put a mountain range in the background, so not going to matter. My goal is to not have white canvas that I'm fighting. And then we can dry this and start painting. Well, I mean, I guess technically we are painting, but you know, start the good stuff. Then I'm going to rinse that brush. Remember, do not leave your paintbrushes sitting in your water, ever. Not even for like 30 seconds. You will damage it in that amount of time. Rinse your brush out, dry it on the paper towel, set it flat to dry. Not like this, not like this, flat to dry, always. Your brushes will last so much longer if you do that. Let's see. Sarah's, oh, now we need to let this dry actually. Let's take the hairdryer to it really quick. That corner does not want to dry. And I can tell it's wet because it's really tacky when I touch it. My fingers are kind of sticking to it. So we need that to cool before I can sketch out what we're going to draw on that. Now, I'm going to be using a white charcoal pencil to sketch out loosely where things are going to go. If you don't have a white charcoal pencil, skip this step, but this will give you guys an idea of where we're going with the painting. So while that sets for a minute, this needs to cool before I do anything, and I need it to like not be tacky. It needs to dry a bit more. Let's see. Sarah said, I just sewed a piece of watercolor paper in preparation for tonight's stream. That'll do it. That'll work. Awesome. Hello, Shiny said, but give him a minute. Soon he will be asking to come inside. Lots of people tell me sheep don't live in a house, but I think they think then why do they put roofs on? Oh my gosh. Gypsy Heart said, 2 pounds closer to zombie snail land. Oh my gosh, nice. Looking forward to this painting tonight. Great choice. Congratulations. That is exciting. Oops. Hi, Sneaks. Hi, Chris is here. I mean, that was a weird sound. I sound like Sushi. I sound like the ringneck parakeet, my husband's bird right now. Hi! That's exactly what he sounds like. Chris said, so funny that you say that. I totally feel like 90% of painting is trying to organize my mess on canvas, and the last 10%, it all starts to make sense. Yeah, and it's even worse when I do this real loose style. Like, my hand is pink. I'm going to have to adjust. See, the color of the canvas looks pretty accurate, but that less so. Anyway, we'll see if I have to adjust it as we get moving on. But yeah, the Impressionism stuff, I can't talk tonight. Impressionism stuff, I'm enunciating that wrong, but that I like, oh my gosh, those first layers, every single time in the first, like most of the painting, I'm like, I can't pull this off. I just need to start over. This one's not going to be one of the ones. Yeah, no, and that last 5 minutes fixes it all up, but you have to work through that like super, yeah, not cute stage to get there. Long, not cute stages. Alana said, I use paint thinner to clean my brush after applying varnish. Oh, if I use paint thinner to clean my brush after applying varnish, can I use the brush after for acrylics, or will the thinners create a problem? Was it an oil-based or a water-based varnish? Like if you were varnishing acrylics, yeah, you can use that brush, but you wouldn't use paint thinner. You would just use water to clean that. If you were doing an oil painting varnish, I would not mix those brushes. I keep anything I use for oils, which I'm guessing you did if you were using a thinner, separate from anything I use for my water-based product. Kimberly said, you're right. Dry brushing makes my painting look lazy. I hate the look too. Blending wet into wet is the best, really. Yes. And I will inevitably, like when I have a video, it was like, what is it? It's an old one. It's my top 10 mistakes in acrylics, I think. And one of my more popular videos, and I will have people on there, that's where they usually will try to argue with me on, I mean, not argue because I don't argue, but like, I don't need to prove. You can look at my work. My work's, I'm going to let that speak, that it's a superior method, we'll say. But yeah, the people, no, it's not. If acrylics were supposed to look like oils, then why did they make a different medium? Because acrylics dry fast. Like, your medium shouldn't be for me, I don't want you to be able to look from one. I mean, you have obvious things. Like if I do something in a loose charcoal-y sketch, then yeah, it looks like charcoal. But your medium, I could also make that look like a black and white painting. Like your medium shouldn't be limiting what your style comes out like. Now, people make that excuse all the time. And I'm like, yeah, you're just saying that because you never learned to blend acrylics wet into wet. I know. And this is where all the thumbs down are going to come from, that little comment there. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, are you done yet? Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, chipping away one day at a time, 53 pounds so far. Only feels like a billion more to go, but I will get a zombie snail. Wow, 53 pounds. You are doing so good. Oh my gosh, congratulations. That is one heck of an accomplishment. Angel said, wait, what? There's a varnish intended for oils and acrylics? Yeah, for oils. I mean, you could technically use Gambar by Gamblin for oils or acrylics. I don't. I use a different one for acrylics than I do for oils. I use the Gamblin. I use that, or Gambar, sorry. I use that one on my oil paintings. For my acrylics, I use Liquitex High Gloss Varnish. Okay, I think it's dry enough. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put the bottom area right about here. Does not need to be perfectly straight, but you don't want to be at a definite angle that way. And this one, it kind of looks like it's at a weird angle. Camera angle is making it look weird, but make yours, semi-straight there. I'm not going to make my mountains exactly like the reference photo. I'm just going to get a loose kind of, some hills in the background. And then my tree is going to be, I'll go maybe right here. And I'm going to do swirly guys there for him. He's going to be a wide tree. I've got a bit of a path that is going to come out this way. We're going to curve that this way. But notice that this area needs to be way wider than this area. So this is one of the mistakes that some people will make when they're first starting with landscape type things. So they want to make a path going in, and they will draw a path like this. Is that angle possible? Yes. It is. Does it look good? More than often, no. What happens when you do that angle like that, you make it look almost like you're going up a wall instead of back this way. You're going more vertically. So I want to make sure my little path, as it moves back, I don't know why there's a path to my tree, but there is, because you want a path to your tree? I don't know. But make sure that you're wider here. I've slightly curved that. We're going to go out that way. We'll have some shrubbery out here. Maybe we'll continue the path. We'll just have it kind of disappear out there. Yeah. And then, okay, so for the clouds. So the clouds, this reference photo actually came from Unsplash, I believe. So, you know, I used a smudging tool to kind of blend it out so it would look kind of like what we're going for. I don't need those clouds to be exact, but I am going to I want to create the swirls like you get with the Van Gogh stuff. I'm going to just kind of play with it until I see something that I like. With the white charcoal pencil, it's pretty forgiving. I mean, it's going to get covered completely with paint. Let's go this way. I'm just going to make a nice swirl that way. I may change that. We'll see what it looks like once it's in there. That may be horribly distracting. I'm just going to kind of make the movement of the sky follow that curve, I think. Actually, I'm going to pull you up and back down. We'll see. That may or may not work out for me. But the cool thing is with the style, it won't matter. I'm just going to paint over it if I don't like that. So we will see. Let's see. Hello Shiny said, new shirt. Your medium doesn't make you average. Was that your medium doesn't make you average? Huh? I think that's missing something because there's a comma. I don't think I'm reading the whole thing. I apologize. Richard said, have you tried sculpting? I'd love to see a zombie snail in 3D. I did, and I like it, but it requires you to like look down, and with my back, and I can't look down. So like I can't crochet anymore. I can't do a lot of stuff. Like even if I sew, it has to be like a quick project. I did get a pattern off Etsy for a Velveteen Rabbit. I'm excited to sew that. But anyway, I have to do like small things because I can't look down. So, and that's kind of the thing for sculpting. So yeah, I'd like to. And I did one with a Smart Art box. I had so much fun. I learned so much from doing that project, enough so that I was like, I want to do more. But my back and neck were like, no, you're not going to do that. Let's see. Alana said, the varnish was Liquitex gloss varnish, but when I washed it with water, the brush got hard and not fully cleaned. I used paint thinner to clean it. Weird. I don't know that those two are going to play nice together. I don't know. I'm curious to see. I mean, usually with water-based products, paint thinner kind of behaves weird. So I'm curious to see how that brush dries out. Let's see. Paul said, what's the actual name of those fancy antique-looking frames? Dick Blick's frames are simple poster frames. I don't know what to type on the search bar. That I don't know. I'm not sure what they use for that. Because I always buy those in person, so I don't know what they're labeled as. I am not helpful. Or should I just contact a framer? I don't know who to contact, really. You could. I would go, if you've got like a local Michaels or Hobby Lobby, look at their frames. Check those out, because they've got some ornate ones, like ready-made. Okay. So let's go ahead. I think I'm going to start with my sky. So just blue and white. I'm not even going to worry. Like, okay, my sky, on my reference, it smudged some of the orange. I'm probably not going to include orange in the sky. I might not. Well, let's find out. Brush-wise, I prefer when doing this style to use a Taklon bristled filbert, something that has, like this one's a good size, something with that rounded end. A flat brush, you're going to have harsher stop and start points, which is fine. That actually can give you a very cool look. So I'm not saying that you can't use a flat. I'm just saying this is my preference. It's going to give you a little bit of a different look because of the harsher start and stop point. So that is why I'm going to go with this one. Joshua said, you have got to try Instagrit from Spectrafix. It adds tooth to your paper way better than Brush and Pencils product. Huh, I have not heard of that. Kimberly said, what is fine art to you? It's such a general term, but often it's popularly related to painting on canvas. I consider it something that makes something, you're creating something that is considered aesthetically pleasing to put on display. Like, it's for looking at. That is what is fine art. So I don't consider, I mean, if I pot a plant and stick it in a pretty corner of the room, it's a growing thing. Well, I don't know. I guess if it was done right, you could consider it fine art. But I mean, it's something that is just considered to be aesthetically pleasing. I think I'm just going to start with more of the white. Start getting these brush strokes. I need some more water in there. That is starting to dry. Yeah, a lot of people, and I used to see that, like, it was one of the things I didn't like about art forums back when that was like a popular thing. You have so many people that want to argue and come and like I felt like they were spending more time debating the terminology of things or debating things that weren't like, it didn't matter, than they were creating actual art. And it seemed like the people who wanted to spend the most time like arguing terminology, like the fine art one was when I would see a lot of people. I mean, people will get nasty. You've probably seen that. People get like really weird about that's. I've had people tell me if I use an airbrush, that's not fine art. Why? Because I can make something look good with it? What? I don't what? I mean, I've had some weird, I mean, it's YouTube, you get weirdos, but you definitely get some interesting comments on YouTube. But it's kind of funny how many of the people that I noticed were arguing about these like semantics, like things that didn't matter. And I don't mean like, let's argue about what's archival or not archival, or what are the actual light fast ratings of this product or whatever. They were arguing over things that didn't matter. And it's funny because it's like, I notice your artwork isn't improving. Is it because you are spending more time arguing about things that don't matter than actually practicing the art? That seemed to be what I experienced from the commenters on, and I have not been on forums in years because that was one of the things that like, it was kind of weird. But yeah, I'm not one to get super like uppity about this term always can only mean this or whatever. So that's my definition. My definition doesn't matter. Let's see. Susie said, this may sound like a silly question, but is there a way to fix a brush that has been left in water too long by accident? I would consider that brush now a brush that you're like a special effects brush. That brush, it's ruined, but not really. Like, you changed it. It morphed into something new. So that brush is now going to be able to do techniques that it wasn't the best for before. So I don't want to make it sound like your brush is ruined and it's the end of the world and you just wasted your money on it. No, you can absolutely still use the brush. It's just not going to have that nice crisp tip and like the clean edge that it originally had. Now you can soak it in a brush cleaner and brush conditioner, like, and try to reform the bristles. I've never had it put it back completely to normal, or the way it was. So for me, the brushes that have happened, I just use them for different effects. But the brush conditioners, like the old is it the Old Masters? I think is the one that I use. That one, it improves the condition for sure. And you would just, I have some over. Actually, hold on. I think I can show you because I have some soaking right now. More just because I didn't clean them in too long. So yeah. These ones are oil brushes. I need to rinse them up. I've been sitting like this for weeks. But see how I've left to dry the soap, and that is the Old Masters, I think. And that is going to help those bristles to be in better condition than they were before I did that, but they're never going to be new either. Let's see. Michael Perry. Hi, Michael. I haven't seen you in a while. If you're using acrylic or latex paints, sometimes if the water does not clean the tools, use alcohol. This will help loosen the dried paint. I cleaned the 50-year-old paint. Oh, nice. That actually makes sense because alcohol is how I can get paint out of clothing too. It'll loosen that up. I don't know. I've never tried it on brushes. That is, although I think my brushes, I use pretty cheap brushes, and I'm pretty sure my alcohol costs more than replacing the brush. I'll have to check. But I had not thought of that. That's a really good tip. Kimberly said, due to curiosity, I actually enrolled an online introduction to what is fine art, because it feels like everybody knows what it is, and I'm the only one who's clueless. How did you like it? Tia said, can acetate paper be used to protect colored pencil work in progress the same as glassine? I don't know. I would assume so. Is it acid free? I mean, it says acetate, so it's probably not. I don't know anything about acetate, so I can't say there. Hopefully somebody else can tell you. Let's see. Serving Artist Collective said, wet canvas oil form. Yes, it was wet canvas. That is the forum I'm talking about. I couldn't remember the name. Is like that. So much mind-numbing nitpicking. Horrible. Occasionally, if you want a bit of information, but end up running away from the stupid arguments. Yeah, I found it to be the most pointless website, like art, and it's the biggest art forum. Like that was, I don't know if it's still is, but at the time that was like the art forum to go to, and it was. So quick tip, when you want your stuff to be more loose, I'm holding the brush back here, and I can even hold it looser. If you are having a hard time being too precise, you don't want to hold your brush up here. Your brush strokes are going to be very stiff. In this case, with this style, we want our hand back here, and if you're really having a hard time, like you're putting too much detail, force yourself to paint like this with your arm extended. Hopefully no one's in the room with you, so they can't see you looking like that. But, you know, doing this, it's going to loosen that up. You can try to put all the detail you want like that, but your arm straight extended, like lock your elbow and make yourself paint. You will get a looser look, inevitably. I'm going to see if I can adjust now that we've got some color on here. This looks kind of terrible. Nope, that's not the thing I want to fix. You fix. Let me see. It's really like abnormally blurry. This is not, no, that isn't really helping. That kind of helped. Pull the brightness down a little bit might help too. That looks closer. I think you can see the brush strokes better now, hopefully. Let's come back. There we are. Are you planning to do more of these impressionistic style paintings? Absolutely. I really like doing these. These are fun. Yeah, I do them every so often. Rose said, do you buy rake brushes or make them? Because I've looked everywhere in my area and I've never seen them because they're pretty, honestly, I think rake brushes are, no, rake, I'm thinking fan brushes. Fan brushes I find to be fairly kind of useless. Rake brushes, I buy them and I usually get them online. I don't think I've bought one in person anywhere in a very long time. So you may, if you're having, I'm going to add a little bit of blue to that so it's not quite so bold. If you're having a hard time finding one, maybe try dickblick.com or Jerry's Artorama. Those are my usual online places. Mrs. Ray said, I use my non-dominant hand to loosen up. That'll do it too. And it's good practice. Let's see. Kimberly said, the course was interesting. It's still so abstract to me. No pun intended. Anyway, I'm just going to enjoy this rather than going into semantics. You know, and the thing is, doesn't matter. Like when people get into, well, this is what is technically fine art. It's just something that looks pretty. That is kind of, if you summed up, it's something intended to be visually appreciated. That's it. Like it serves no other person or purpose. It's not going to cook you food. It's not going to, you know, like it is there just for looks. That is the sum of what it is. But yeah, it's kind of funny how worked up people get over wanting the definitions for everything. So I'm going to make a new swirl going out this way. And the trick here on the sky as we build up, and I may not point out every time I change colors, is I want various, like my brightest cloud here, I want that bright white, I want light blue, I want darker blue, I want to get variation in here. That's the trick. So when I start my swirls, I'm kind of focusing my initial shape with one color, and then I will come back through with darker values. We'll be adjusting that. Monica said, Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists. Mom wants me to try it, but I haven't painted in a year. Oh my gosh, you should do this. You definitely need to do this. Because it's a really fun, like it's an easy style. This is, I used to teach at one of those places that were like paintings with a twist, only the teachers were actually like professional artists, so they could actually teach. And I apologize if any of you are teachers at Paintings with a Twist. They occasionally do get some of you guys that know what you're doing, but overall, Painting with a Twist actually made the place I worked at harder because people didn't realize that you, like, ours actually could teach you, where the one local to me that people were going to, the girl, so side story, that girl was, there were several teachers. One of them would get wasted. The teacher was getting wasted while teaching. Like, I didn't drink at all while I was teaching. That was not even, no. And there's, yeah, so that's why I talk so much trash about painting with a twist. Like, their teachers from what in my area were so unprofessional. Some people I worked with would go and take classes there just for comparison to see like how our classes were compared to theirs. And it was a joke. Like, so often people left not happy because they just didn't like the results they were getting, because they couldn't get help from the teacher because the teacher was wasted. So, or the teacher just didn't know how to paint at all. So that's why you hear me ramble about that. But one of the things that we would teach, or one of the more common styles, especially if you've not painted in a while, this is a great thing to get started with. It'll look good when you're done. Honestly, you're just going to layer until it does. So yeah, if you've been out of practice, you need to do it. This is a great one for you to do. I can hear Sushi in the other room making his weird little monkey sounds. Let's see. Whoops, I've got to scroll up a bit. Give me just a second. Here we go. Could you do them in a finger painting style? That would take away the pressure from all the mediums and brushes, and it's so much fun. I don't like to get paint built up around my nails because I enjoy, and I know this sounds silly, and someone's going to say, well, just use gloves. I don't like to wear gloves. So I'm a pain in the butt. But I do nail stamping, and I enjoy nail art, and I don't like when I hate when I get acrylic paint built up. It can sometimes be a pain. I don't see myself, maybe with a palette knife. Well, do you guys want to do a palette knife painting one of these days? Because that I will do for sure. We go through a lot of paint when we do that, but I'm all for a palette knife painting. It's kind of like finger painting. Lottie said, would you ever try a Mary Cass, I don't know who that is, style painting? Would it be copyright infringement to recreate a painting that was done more than a century ago, such as hers? No, that should be fine, but I don't actually know who she is. Gracie said, if C.J. Hendry ended up making a new brand of colored pencils, would you try them? Who is C.J. Hendry? I mean, I guess I don't know who that is. Is that a trustworthy, like, company? Or I don't know anything about C.J. Hendry. I'm always a little bit, I'm going to go a little bit darker blue now. I'm just going to add into the color I was at. I'm always a bit hesitant when a new company pops up out of nowhere that I've never heard of and they have supplies. I'm like, but what testing did you do? Like, are your archival standards the same as mine? Because mine are kind of picky. So yeah, I don't know. I might try them. That is not getting dark enough. I need even more blue. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely have questions like, what are the archival qualities of it? There we go. So now I've got a third shade of blue, but it's really almost 4 shades if you count the background as a base shade there. Now this brush is starting to fray. I need to clean off the paint, wash it off really good. Because even though I'm using pretty much the same color, there's too much paint being built up in there, and it's doing this, and it's making it so that I'm not getting good brush strokes. So we'll just rinse that completely and reload. Ah, much better. I've got control again of my brush. Much better. But yeah, I'm always like a little, there are a few companies that when they make a new product, I'm going to be the first in line for it, like Brush and Pencil, because I know her and I know what testing she's done. So I trust everything from her to be archival. Like, that's a big deal to her. A lot of companies hire just a random person so they come to brand on it. I'm like, but what testing was done on it? If I just did like craft stuff for kids or just crafty stuff, like, I wouldn't worry so much about it. But because I'm doing stuff that is stuff that needs to last a really long time, I'm a bit more hesitant to try stuff from like upstart company. And that may be sad for the upstart company. They would have to convince me that they've done the necessary tests to make sure their stuff is archival, I guess. So it'd be kind of on them to convince me of that. And then I'd be all for trying it. Do I ever attend classes like the ones that Jerry's does for art in the Carolinas? I have, the last class I attended, actually, it was the only class really I attended, was Coast Airbrush. I took a airbrushing class from them. God, that must have been 20 years ago, but that was a really good class. One of my students, I was teaching her, and her mom wanted her daughter to go to that class, but she knew her daughter was shy and wouldn't want to go by herself. So she paid for me to go too and drive us both down there and paid for our lunch. It was such a blast. Like it was just such a fun day. And I love that student. So we had a good time. She was, yeah, she must have been like 13 at the time. Like she was young. It's so weird. She's married now. Like, God, am I old? But anyway, it's a side story. That was the only class that I had really taken. I'm not opposed to classes. I just don't have time. Like I don't leave the house. And even at home, like there's not like online. I bought a class from Aaron Blaze on light, painting light, that I really am excited to do. I've had it for months and I have not done, like I bought it the day it came out. I was so excited, but I haven't had time to like watch it. So yeah, time's an issue. Now, the type of brushstroke you get, yours is going to be somewhat unique. It won't look exactly like mine, and that's okay. That is part of like this stylized look that makes it yours. I don't like that brushstroke I just did, so I'll cover that later. Paul said, so are we really working oil over acrylic since almost all canvases are primed with an acrylic gesso? Are we all really? That's not how that means. When someone says oil over acrylic, that's not really the term, what they mean. That they mean an actual underpainting with acrylics. Mary said, I really needed this between the crazy election and getting 4 teeth pulled. Oh, ouch. I'm sorry. Some calming art really helps to lower my blood pressure. Man, you've had a rough day. I'm sorry. Let's see. Kimberly said, you said to overshoot deadlines for a week. Why? I'm not sure if we missed part of that conversation, but like in the past, I've said that. So let's say you are doing a commission for somebody. You want to tell them that it's going to, estimate that it'll take you at least a week longer than you think it will. And then if you deliver early, great. But if you get sick or you have something come up, you don't want to be late. If they've got a deadline, you do not want to be late. People don't appreciate that. I mean, you've heard me talk about what I went through with my vivarium, which, by the way, let's come back to that. The vivarium that I had built, where they said it would take 2 weeks. It took them 4 months. 4 months. That's unacceptable. I just felt like they were jerking me around constantly. Every time I'm like, okay, do you have an update? Oh, well, here's this new excuse. Now here's another excuse. Now here's another. Now I guarantee you some of those excuses were absolutely real. And I know that they're busy all the time. But some of the excuses turned out not to be real. Like they were just making it, depended on who I talked to that day, I guess. So anyway, that is not the customer service. Like I got a product. So let me back that up for those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I have a very large, it's an 18 by 24 by 36 inch vivarium for my little baby tree frogs, their future home. Custom made by a local reptile place. They were all over. They knew exactly what I wanted. Yeah, we've got you. We know what it is. They estimated, and this is the other thing, do not underestimate the price. Like if you give someone a quote and it ends up taking you longer than you thought it would, don't raise the price on them. You need to stick with the price you gave them. So with this reptile build, or the vivarium build, they told me that it would be under $1,000, and it ended up being more than 200 more. And now they're trying to get another 100 out of me for the delivery fees, or that's what they told me when they dropped it off. I'm like, I just won't shop with you anymore. I'm not paying you another $100. You already jacked up the price so much more than what my paperwork said it was going to be and what I signed. So, and if they would have been like, hey, do you want this upgrade? I would have been like, yeah, add it on, done, fine. I'm an easy upsell. But they didn't. They told me they were going to give me discounts since I'd make a video for them on it and blah, blah, blah. Nothing they followed through on. And they did not do anything that they said they were going to do through this. The vivarium did not come out exactly, it wasn't what it sort of was what I asked for. I'm happy with it. I love it. So don't get me wrong there. But it was, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, go to Instagram on my stories. I have a current photo of that vivarium right after the baby tree frogs. But anyway, this is the thing. They told me 2 weeks I made choices. I made plans around this based on that 2 weeks. I would have had it because my neighbor is a woodworker. I could have had a cabinet made for this thing. But because I only had 2 weeks, I didn't have time for that. So I had to find a table at Target to put it on. I'm not moving that vivarium. That is permanent. It's not something I can change later easily. So it's very heavy. So anyway, I made choices based on what they told me. And they were not calling me, they tell me they were going to message me or tell the next day they'd give me information. 2-3 days ago by, I hadn't heard anything again. I'd have to contact them. I don't appreciate having to call and harass you about getting your job done. And your client isn't going to appreciate that from you. So the reason that I bring this up, I think this is such a good lesson for artists, because it kind of shows you the other side, like if you're in the client's position, because so often I hear artists do the whole, well, they're not understanding I had this family drama, and then I had this, and then my car broke down, and I had this, and I just couldn't get it done. People are only going to understand that stuff for so long. They're going to get a little bit annoyed. And as I say that, I think about myself and how I'm always behind on Patreon postcards. But anyway, that is just the state of my being. So, kind of like this guy. I think I'm calling that sky pretty good. Or done. Let me put a couple of bigger brush strokes to break this up now. Just a little. So to get the bigger brush stroke, I'm just pushing a little bit harder, because right now all my brush strokes are exactly the same. But anyway, the point of that is this company could have had me singing their praises from the rooftop, because what they built for me, okay, they did not include the plants or the tree frogs that they were going to. I ended up buying my frogs and plants from somebody else. I love Josh's Frogs, by the way. Huge shout out to them. They pack their stuff and their baby frogs so impressively well. I took footage of it, so you'll see it when I post that video. But I would normally be telling people, hey, if you're interested in frogs, check out or whatever this company local to me. I can't recommend them. I know they don't give good customer service, so I personally won't take on video. I won't promote anybody who I wouldn't personally use. And at this point, I don't want to personally use these people again, so I would not promote them. They lost out on that potential of having somebody promote them like crazy and be like, if I like something, I make a big deal out of it. If I dislike something, I also make a big deal out of it. So, this is not good. Now think back for art, talking about your question about why do I say to overshoot for deadlines? I'm saying tell people it's going to take longer than you think is way better than telling them 2 weeks and it really takes 4 months. Your clients will not be happy with that. And that's kind of the thing. So even if you produce the most amazing painting, your client is not likely going to be singing your praises from the rooftops if you took an extra 4 months. Much like this vivarium, which is stunning. Well, I had to fix a lot because they didn't include all the plants they were supposed to, which is still annoying to me. But I think they told me they could provide more for the amount that they were really able to. So the guy should not be allowed to make estimates that did. But anyway, so a side story that has nothing to do with that, you can't see, it doesn't look good here, but my cube, the 18 by 18 inch by 18 cube that I'm going to move my dart frog into, anyone who builds vivariums knows, and if you don't, I'll tell you, you do a drainage layer. So you have your rock or whatever type of drainage you use. Leca, I think it's a type of clay ball type thing that I'm having to replace this. You put your drainage layer or rocks, whatever, then you do an isolation layer. That isolation layer is important. It's like a screen, and then you put your dirt on top of that, or whatever your soil is, not dirt. But you don't want the dirt, whatever, to soak through and just sit in the water that builds on that drainage layer. So, or the rocks. They didn't put the isolation layer on this one. My big one they did. This one has no isolation. I have to pull it all out and redo it. So I bought a tank that was supposed to be ready, all complete. And then the store manager built this one and didn't include one of the most basic, you talk about half doing something. Now I went from, I'm not going to talk about it. My experience with this company was both positive and negative. Now I don't feel like it was so more and more, it's less and less positive. Anyway, so, we can relate that to art. Don't have to do things. I'm trying to think of what an example would be. I don't know, not using archival products that end up fading. Your customers are going to be real unhappy with that later on down the road. What are we going to do next? We're going to do the mountains in the background. So we'll get some brownish tones. I'll probably make mine by using, I do have some red oxide. So I'll mix that with a little bit of black and some magenta. But anyway, yeah, they were a good example of how not to do customer service. But going back to that basic question that I just spent half an hour friggin' rambling about, if this company had told me that it was going to take 6 months and they got it done in 4 months, then I'm happy. I accept the fact that something takes a long time. Don't tell me it's going to be done in 2 weeks and then take 4 months. That, you see the difference there, and that's going to be the same with your clients. You don't want to tell them that it's going to take a certain amount of time and have that time be so far off. And you want to allow for time. You may have a family emergency. You may get sick. You may, who knows? By adding that extra week or an extra 2 weeks, this allows you a little bit of wiggle room without upsetting your clients. And that's a big deal. Oh, Cletus is chirping. So yeah, there we go. Random rant. Let's see. Palette knife painting sounds good too. Would love to see you explain how to do it. Okay, we'll plan on that. Paul said, for sure, palette knife painting next week, please. Yeah, hold on. Do I have something to write that with? Because we know I'm going to forget. I just spelled that wrong. We will plan on it. I don't know if there's letters. None of them are the right letters. Okay. Johanna also wants palette knife painting. Patty said, I stopped buying palette knives as I kept breaking them. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've ever had that happen. You know, one of my main uses for a palette knife? For getting my Scentsy wax out of the little jar, like it gets stuck, like when it cools and you want to take it, remove it. Sorry, nose running. I just use the palette knife and use that to scoop it's wonderful for that. But I have a separate one just for that. I don't think I've broken one yet though. Renee said, yes, do a palette knife series, please. We can do this. Rose said, for a messy first few layers, it's looking pretty epic so far. Thanks. I hope you're talking about yours though. Are you painting? Gypsy Heart said, oh, well, months ago I had high hopes of trying to be more social and offer in-person painting nights and call it Tipsy Gypsy Paint Parties. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Then the universe gave me my answer and said, nope. Oh my gosh. Where were we? Get caught up on a few of these questions. Kimberly said, the shade of it all, I don't want the names, but some art channels I hear on YouTube are making their own paints. I mean, brushes are okay, but paints, don't think so. So companies, I don't know of who's doing it, so I'm not like bashing any individual who's doing it. There are companies that will contact you saying, hey, we'll put your name on this product. And I have one, it's friends of mine that want to do that with me for some stencils, which will be really cool for like airbrushing and stuff. So that's one thing. But when it comes to paint, I've had people ask, companies, we'll put your name on such and such product. I don't want my name on that product. But you have to keep in mind too, I say I'm fairly picky as I'm sitting here happily using Liquitex Basics, so I guess I'm not that picky, but I am in that, like, I prefer Liquitex Basics over almost every other acrylic, even though they are cheaper. I am definitely picky on what I want my supplies to be, and it's a big deal to me. I would rather not make the money, because you would make money using your name on that. I would rather not make the money than potentially be promoting something that I don't have full trust in. I'm really weird about that, and maybe that's not a great business model or whatever. Well, I think it is. It's an honest business model. But I personally, if I won't use it, and you guys know my attitude about like the random pop-up Chinese art supplies. If I'm not going to use it, I'm not going to recommend it to somebody else, and I don't want my name on it, that's for sure. I'm not saying that they can't be good products. I'm saying I don't trust it. I don't know if they're good or not, but I am not going to put my name on that. I mean, it's cool. It's just, it would concern me. So I'm going to get a bit of contrast back here. I'm not trying to cover all of the brown. I've got black mixed in more with the brown I was previously using. Sarah said, you might be interested in the life and work of Richard Dodd. He painted fantasy scenes like Van Gogh, also spent time in a mental hospital. Oh, I am interested. Sarah, can you message me on Facebook that name? I actually would like, or if you have any videos you like about him, can you message, I'm going to forget. Michael said, Lisa, are you going to introduce complements such as oranges into the sky after the blues dry? Impressionism uses many interactions of complementary colors to create pop-up effects. Oh no, I don't do anything traditional. I might not, but I really want the tree has the oranges and I want that to be the thing that pops. So, and I'm keeping this pretty simple. Usually a lot of the artists didn't use black paint and I'm sitting here like getting my shadows in with that. So I am not doing this in the sense of this is what was traditionally done, so this is what mine has to be. I don't actually care about any of that myself. I'm just like painting a quick, kind of quick painting for a 2-hour live stream where I'm talking more than painting. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. I'm just saying I probably won't. Joshua said, C.J. Hendry is a popular, true hyper-realistic colored pencil artist and has the same views as you with Prisma, archival qualities, and light fastness. Awesome. I need coffee. That tastes like happy. Visions of the Heart said, hi, do you have any tips on how to create fog on a painting, maybe a video? Every time I've tried fog, it looked like I've just smudged paint over my picture. Thank you so much. I have 2 ways that I do it. One is with an airbrush and white paint. If you look at my Elephants in the Mist painting, and that's here on YouTube, just type in Lachri Elephants in Mist. It should come up. And then I did another one where I showed how you just use white paint and you create a fog, and you almost dry brush or kind of glaze that, and that will create a fog as well. But I have 2 videos showing how you can do that. Where were we? Renee said, Scentsy, hint, heat wax, put a cotton ball or 2, it absorbs wax. Oh, when it's hot. Interesting. I always let it cool first, but I did not know that. That is really interesting. Thanks. Brent said, okay, people, are we using oil or acrylic with our palette knives? Oh, we're using acrylics because just the dry time of oil would be too long. There's no way you guys can. But even with this, like this can be done and looks great in oil. I actually prefer it in oil. And I prefer palette knife with oil. It's good. And one of the downsides is we're going to be doing it. I'll probably end up using, I don't know if I've got Liquitex Heavy Body. They are the ideal ones for using a palette knife. With acrylics that I have, I may use them. You use a lot of paint when you paint with palette knife. I may do a base with Liquitex Basics and then put Heavy Body on top. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Let's see. In case you were wondering how to, oh, you can tell I can't pronounce your name, huh? Because I keep not saying it. Where were you? Come back. It jumped. Where were you? In case you were wondering how to pronounce my name, it's Aishwarya. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. And I am never going to remember that. I'm sorry for butchering your name. Love from India. You have a beautiful name. Aishwarya. I am not going to remember that. Oh, I suck with names. It's beautiful. I apologize, but I can't say it. Aishwarya. I'm probably still saying that wrong, right? I'm just going to say it over and over. I'm probably just mispronouncing your name again and again. I hope I'm not insulting you. Let's see. Okay. And now I'll probably layer some purples on top of that. Actually, let's do that now. I'm going to take some of my magenta. Look, got some of that background color we did here. I'm going to add some of that. Just make that, push those purples in that background. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to the grass. I'm going to do the tree probably last. So I need, let's see, I actually do think I need some different paints out. I'm going to get some unbleached titanium white. You can just use your titanium white. This just saves me a little bit because I'm going to want that color anyway. What other colors do I have out? Whatever is over here is what it's going to have to be. We've got some bronze yellow. Sure. We'll throw some of you out there. That'll work. That with the white and maybe some red oxide, I think. Those colors and then the yellow, cadmium yellow that I have out already should be enough. So using the same brush, okay, I'm going to grab some unbleached titanium white. Let's just start by mixing that with, I'm using the bronze yellow. Whatever yellow you have, your color is not a big deal. We tend to, and you guys have heard me, those of you who have been around for a while, hear me ramble about this all the time, but we tend to put way too much importance on the color when really it's the values that matter more. So if you do not have the same color, because bronze yellow is kind of seems like kind of an obscure color that not everyone would run out and buy. I don't even know why I have it. Don't worry about that. It's not like a must-have. Use whatever yellow you have. So just kind of side to side in the back, and then as I move my way forward, I'm going to switch my brush stroke so it's more vertical. These are just little ones back there, and this is going to take, like the sky, lots of layers. It's not going to be super cute in the beginning. They're going to be super ugly in the beginning. Visions of the Heart said, thank you so much. I'm creating a stormy look with the help of today's painting, but I didn't want to just do all the hard work and then possibly ruin it by adding fog. Thank you. Yeah, that's this style. I don't even think fog would work with this style well, though. But check out those videos. That'll help a lot, I think. Paul said, laughable they'd compete with companies like Liquitex and Golden's that has been established centuries ago. Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad for competition. Like, I'm glad that we don't just have Prismacolor. That would suck. I'm glad we've got competition in these things, but I also am like, I'm not risking my name. And maybe it's different because I'm not just a YouTuber. Like, I'm a professional artist. I want my name to mean, like, I don't know if I want to say I want my name to mean something, but yeah, I want that reputation as an artist. And I don't think for me, like, yes, I'm also considered an influencer, but that's not my main focus. So I don't know, maybe that makes a difference. Eshwartia. Did I say it right that way? That's great. You got the name right. Better than most people anyway. I'm sorry. I'm bad at that. Nick said, let's see. I'm about to make a PayPal account so that I can join your lessons on Patreon. Oh, thank you. I mean, Nick didn't say that. Salwa Asi? I'm butchering that. I'm butchering all the names tonight. You want to throw yours into the butchering hat? Write it in. I'm sure I'll mess it up too. I apologize, guys. Kevin said, can you use the same canvas for both oil and acrylic? As long as they are both acrylic primed, yes. If you get an oil primed canvas, which most places don't carry, then you can only use that for oils. So these are going to be a little bit closer, so I'll make bigger brush strokes. And then smaller as I move my way back and start to flatten out as I move my way back, whereas these ones are kind of going every which direction. And then when I get to my little road, I may as well throw some grayish tones in there. Just going to let that pathway side to side, kind of crisscrossing those. And so that blocks out about where everything is going to go. Yeah, I don't love my mountain. My mountains are definitely too dark. Let's throw some yellow. Let's get some bronze yellow in there too. Maybe too bright. Yep, too bright. Let's add some black and red oxide to it then. We're just experimenting. Like the new shirt says, I may regret this. Let's find out. Angel said, the carousel painting and the goldfish pouring painting are probably your best paintings ever. Thank you. You know what's funny about the carousel one? I really liked how that came out, and my mother-in-law didn't like it because it's too realistic looking. That's who I painted it for Christmas, because she likes carousel horses. And I painted two that were like that. One of them I think was before Patreon, so I don't think one of them has a video. I think it's on a video on YouTube, but not there. And yeah, she didn't like that style. She wanted that painterly, I guess more, not quite this either though. Yeah, it was kind of funny. Sometimes you do. I mean, she liked them and they're hanging on her wall, but it was like not her favorite. Sometimes you wonder why you do stuff for people. Let's see. Noletta said, oh, well, love it. Maybe you can get my name right. Probably not. It looks like Noeletta. Noeletta? I'm calling you Noel because at least I can shorten that a bit and like pronounce that kind of. A few more horizontal strokes here for our path. Let's start getting some oranges. And I want more of the browns as well in the background of our grassy, dried grass area. Just as a reminder, make sure to do the Lachri fine art. It'll highlight my name in orange so that I can see your question. If you don't do the Lachri fine art, I just don't see the question all the time. So I apologize if you are being ignored. If you can't get that to work, just ask Nick or somebody, ask anybody if they can ask for you if you're being ignored. Speaking of Nick, make sure to check out Nick and Joseph. They both have, our moderators have their channels are here listed in the video description. They both have art channels here on YouTube. Definitely want to check those out. Nick even started doing live streams. I don't know if Joseph's still doing live streams, because apparently even the cat left, according to him. If you watched Nick's live stream, you would know what we were talking about. So I'm going to make my little own inside jokes, and everyone's like, the heck, Lisa? Just paint and be quiet. I mean, I'm not telling you guys that. I'm thinking that's probably what you're thinking to me. Thinking to me? I don't know. I need more coffee. Who knew waiting for frogs to arrive would cause so much sleep loss? So see how as I'm back here, they're little brush strokes and they're more side to side. And as I move forward, I'm doing more vertical brush strokes, kind of crossing back and forth. Sushi is screaming his sushi head off in the other room. Sounds like a crazy monkey. So we just want to start building a lot of texture, and we want to get variation. Here's the thing that a lot of people do, and I don't even want to say it's wrong, because it looks cool too, but when people are not happy with the look that they're getting with the Impressionism, they start to do one brush stroke and they just repeat the same stroke everywhere. Try to get some variation. So like when I went up here, you saw I went back and pushed a little harder with my brush, so I got some heavier brush strokes in the sky, even though most of them were about the same. And the same here. I want little brush strokes in the distance, and as I move forward, I can get some bigger globby strokes there. I want to get some more of that brown. So the way that I'm mixing brown is just the red oxide with some black. I'm just letting it's mixing in with the yellow. It's all mixing together into a muddy mess, but it's fine. I can actually put a little bit of purple in there. You get a slightly richer color. Angel said, YouTube algorithm is weird, but could be beneficial sometimes. But Lena Dania's recent painting broke the algorithm and got almost 5 million views. That's awesome. I haven't seen her most recent one. That's really good. Yes, sometimes a video will go crazy. And then there'll be times where videos that I thought would perform really well and they didn't get any views. So well, I've got that on there. I'll just block in the tree trunk. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and use this for starting to get some of the swirls, just little brush strokes for the tree. But that is, I'm going to have to get a lot of brighter colors over that. More coffee. We moved out of the ugly stage on this one fairly quick. I thought this would last until closer to the end of I mean, it's not at a good stage, but it's not at that full on, oh my gosh, I'm not going to pull this one off stage. It didn't stay there for too long. The thing that's really nice too with the Impressionism or doing this looser style, if you are a pet portrait artist, this is a style I could have a pet portrait done in one night. So I could charge very, very little, you know, a lot less. If my normal pet portrait, let's say for that whatever size, I charge $600, $800. I could do something impressionistic and charge maybe $125, $150. So I could have options for people that made me, you know, I might spend 2-3 hours. So you're making a decent amount of money fairly quickly. It was a nice way to have another option for people to get your work that maybe didn't have the $600 or $700 or $800 or whatever, you know, my normal prices would be for the photorealism. And I did sell quite a few of the impressionistic pet portraits. I've got some here on YouTube, some of the older videos. So that is definitely an option once you get the hang of doing the impressionistic style or keeping that looser, quick brush stroke. You're really focusing more on, it's not about the details, it's about your contrast, your values, the shapes of things, but not like the little details you're leaving out. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So as we do this, here's another tip. We don't want to overblend to where we don't have any definite lights and definite darks. We want to see the definite swirls going through and the definite shapes. So don't I've got to come back through and get some more highlights in here for sure. Renee said, my gloss varnish has been looking streaky over my painting. What causes it? Should I spray a sealer before I varnish? What's looking streaky? Is it the varnish itself, or is it actually streaking the paint underneath? Because I've had that, and that's when I've used, like if I have a white background, I have a flamingo, I still need a varnish. I'm probably just going to do a spray varnish over the entire thing for him. But the background is mostly white, and it has these big colored circles over it. It's a pop art style. And that one is, if I were to just put varnish on that, the black that's circling the circles or lining the circles would smear into the white, like without a doubt. So that one needs just a spray. I'm probably just going to do full spray varnish on that one. So that's one thing that would streak, and doing a light coat of a spray varnish first can help with that. And I do a matte varnish when I do that, the spray varnish and a light coat. If you go too heavy, then your other varnish doesn't want to stick to it. So that could do it. It could also be if you put on a varnish, like the Liquitex gloss, if you put it on and you just keep working it and working it and working it and working it, oh my gosh, stop trying to blend that. Like it will make it foggy and streaky and not look good. So with that, whenever you apply a varnish, you want as few brush strokes as possible. And I don't mind if it's streaky and like you can see where I switched directions, and I actually usually intentionally do it because I think it just looks nice. When I do the big varnish thing, I don't care if it's perfect, if the varnish is perfectly smooth, but if it's coming out to where it's streaky because it's getting foggy looking, you're over brushing that. So those are usually the two reasons that'll help it happen. Paul said, YouTube is suggesting me weird stuff like cleaning your shoes with food, and wow. Your suggestions are usually based off of other things you've watched. So now I have to ask myself, what weird things have you been watching? Okay, I'm going to add some more of the unbleached titanium white to my bronze yellow. Get some of these highlights back in here. Get some different directions on these brush strokes, some different textures. Notice I've used the same brush for the entire painting. You can use whatever brush you're comfortable with, but I don't need to change it. I can use this depending on how much pressure I add. I can get a thin little line. I can get a heavier line by pushing harder. Kimberly said, differentiate turpentine, terpenoid, and mineral spirits, please. What should I use? I only use odorless mineral spirits. Turpentine and terpenoid, I can't tell you the scientific, like this is the ingredients. I can tell you they smell horrible, and any brush that has been used in one can smell like that for months after. Like it just doesn't stop stinking, and it gives me a horrible headache. And so this is how I differentiate them. When students brought those ones into the classroom, I had to nope, you need to go buy OMS because the odorless mineral spirits do not smell as bad. Now, as far as do the other ones work better, I don't know. I can't tolerate the smell long enough to find out. So I don't know if it makes a difference there. But odorless mineral spirits is the only one that I personally use and can tolerate. And I have tried natural ones. They're like, oh, they're natural. Natural means less toxic. No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. But the natural, it was one that came in a Smart Art box. It was a lavender, like a lavender natural paint thinner type thing. And my throat closed off. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter if you're more natural. If I can't breathe anymore, it was tightening up, closing my ear. It was bad. So don't mistake something being natural for being healthier, because it isn't. That is not necessarily the case. I don't know if I like these highlights. I may cover them up. Probably going to cover most of those. I think it's a little too bright. I like these ones. Okay. I want to start getting some of the oranges on that tree, and I want really bold orange. If I were to just add orange right over this, it is not going to be bold. Actually, hold on. I'll show you what would happen. Let me clean that brush out. If I take, let's say even a big chunk of orange, it is not super, super bold, but watch what happens if I do it in white first and then let that dry. I can get really bold oranges and reds, which I want in this. I'm actually going to pull some of that orange and red too. Now, in this case, I can pull some of the orange down here and it'll show up because I'm up over the unbleached titanium white, and so it shows up pretty well over that. But over these brown, oh, now I've got unbleached titanium white in there, so it is showing up. But if I do just the transparent orange over the darker brownish red, it's not going to be as pure and bright of a color. There we go. I actually like that orange in the better than I did in the unbleached titanium white. It was just too bold. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use titanium white, unbleached titanium white. It doesn't really matter in this case. I'm going to start doing some little brush strokes, and I'm going to do small. You can switch to a smaller brush if you need to. Just get some different shapes in there. Little circles and swirly guys. Now, I'm not trying to cover my blue background all the way. I want a little bit of that to show through. If I cover it, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to pull more back in later anyway, but I don't need this to be this big solid mass. Some different brush strokes in there. Some are a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller. Now we need that to dry completely before we go on top of the orange. Chelsea said, or no, sorry, Vladimir said, what was the Chelsea Classical Studios lavender? Was it the Chelsea Classical Studios lavender cleaner? That also messes me up hard. I have no idea what brand it was. I'm not sure on that. If we went back to one of my old Smart Art box, it was an oil painting one. I want to say it was a palette knife one, that one I still have, I think. I think that's what it came with, which was funny because I didn't need paint thinner for that if it was that one, but it would have it listed. Paul said, yeah, it's called the behavior syndrome. Google knows you better than your mom or mom. Yep, that is definitely true. Sarah said, I sent you a message with more information about Mr. Dad. I don't know how to pronounce his last name either. Thank you, Sarah. Angel said, plans for Thanksgiving. No. Like last year I made a turkey, but this year, so I was doing I don't know why I gained so much weight. I was doing the low carb, except I did low carb and then still kept eating all the carbs. But somehow would justify, if it's high protein, I can eat as much of that as I want. Yeah, that is not how that works. But anyway, so my husband and we're not going to eat a turkey, the two of us, and he works, so we don't do anything with family. We only have my in-laws out here. We don't really do much with them. So no, we don't have much of anything. I don't know if I will be cooking anything fancy. I guess I could freeze a turkey or give it to the dogs, whatever we didn't eat. But now with my whole calorie counting, I don't actually get that much turkey where I would gorge myself and eat a whole, I don't know why my pants stopped fitting last year. But yeah, I don't have I'm just thinking out loud now, what am I going to do? Because I guess I could get a teeny tiny turkey. I don't know. Everything I eat is pre-measured pretty much. So but I could make turkey sandwiches. I'm going to make a turkey. I'm on this turkey sandwich kick, but I've been using lunch meat. I could do that. Okay, I'm going to make a turkey. How's that? You solved my problem. I thought it through with you guys. Paul said it was using the Lucas oil paint. I don't even remember. I've done so many different, I don't remember. Susie said, and just a reminder for anyone, if I'm not I can't speak. If I'm not getting your question, make sure to do the Lachri fine art, because if it doesn't, it'll highlight my name in orange so I can then see that you're talking to me and not to each other. So I just don't see your question most of the time, and I apologize. But yeah, if you do that, then I can see your question. If you can't get it to work, ask somebody else and they'll tag me in it. Wannabe Artistic said, is it okay if I just use linseed oil for oil paint if I can't buy all the other mediums? I'm just 14 years old and I want to become an artist. Yeah, you can use just linseed oil. If you're only going to use one medium, I would just use liquid. That's all I use. I don't use all the other mediums. What we're talking about now really isn't mediums. We're talking about how we clean, paint thinner. It's how you clean your brush. You're going to have that anyway. So if you go back, I have an intro to oil painting video that goes through, I think it's the apple. I don't know if you can see the apple. No, you can't see it. But that one, it goes through all of the supplies that I would recommend. Yes, you can use linseed oil instead of liquid. It's just going to take longer to dry. Angel said, they're a good abstract and then there's abstract done bad. Correct. You don't need to be a cook to know the food is bad. That is true. Like, it's pretty easy to tell that like something's missing in balance. It's definitely a lot of people who are like, I want to become an artist, but I don't actually know how to draw, and I don't want to practice or learn how to draw. So I'm just going to do abstract. I cannot tell you how many, and usually it was younger students, like teenagers, that would do that. And when they'd come in the class and say, well, I'm just really interested in abstract. Like, I'm not sure why you came to me. I'm a photorealist. But if, not this, but I'm like, are you choosing abstract because you can't draw, or are you choosing it because you just love abstract? And almost every time, I don't even know if there was anybody who ever said they just liked abstract. They just didn't know how to draw, but they wanted to feel like an artist. And it's like, okay, I got you. We can teach you. You can work through that. Now, and that's not to say that if you love abstract, you should do abstract then. You should do what you love. But like the students that I was working with, they had this thing in their head where if I can't draw, then I just do abstract. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't create good abstract. Like, that's not abstract. Still, you want balance and composition, and there's still art, So yeah. What is Thanksgiving exactly? It is a day where we all overeat on turkey and other people will have pumpkin pie. I'm not allowed that this year. And then we go shopping right after. I think I summed it up pretty accurately. Yep, like Joseph said, a holiday about stuffing your face, fighting with family, and then falling asleep, right? It's something like that. Don't forget the Black Friday shopping after that most people do. I don't do that. I'm not. Well, I shop online. I pretty much do everything online. Tried to shop at a local pet store or reptile store, and they did a terrible job. Now I'm back to shopping only online. Josh's Frogs was much better. Let's see. Wannabe Artistic said, thank you so much. Glad I can help. Renee said, where can I buy your new shirts? Everyone please like and share. Oh, thank you. I love you, Renee. My shirts, there should be, if you look at the chat, it should have like a pinned thing for you. Or if you go into the video description, there's a thing for Teespring. We have the new shirts. We've got 3 different designs, I think, right now. We've got the one, I was going to wear it tonight, and then I got cold and put a shirt over. But I've got a, I may regret this. Let's find out. We've got Words Are Hard with the goldfish, and then we've got another new one, Words Are Hard with a zombie snail. So those are the 3. And the zombie snail one has stickers now. So that just got added too. But yeah, I ordered my zombie snail t-shirt and sweatshirt just shipped, so they should be here any day. I'm ridiculously excited about that. Such a dork. But yeah, and then I have my one, I may regret this, let's find out, with the goldfish one too. But yay. Have you seen the latest Mandalorian episode? I feel like if I answer this, everyone's gonna hate me. I don't like Star Wars. I've never been a fan of Star Wars, so that's not my thing. My husband watches it. I think Baby Yoda is the cutest thing in the history of everything, but I'm not I haven't watched any of them. I'm not saying it's not amazing. It's just not my thing. Anna said, thanks for this, the lives. First time that I can join from Ecuador in South America. Welcome. I'm glad you made it. Is this dry yet? Nope. Let's take the hairdryer to it. Hold on one second. Ooh! I haven't talked to Leonardo. You guys know Leonardo, Fine Art Tips. I haven't talked to him in forever. I just have an email from him. Yay! That guy's, have you seen his channel? Well, it's huge. I'm sure you've seen his channel. Maybe a new collaboration coming up, it looks like. So, yay, I like him. Random, sorry, I just got an email and got all excited. Let's see. Monica said, I just started oil pastels. I'm loving it. Do you have any tips for blending? I've seen artists use their fingers and I'm like, that's not something I would sell or give to mom. For me, with oil pastels, I liked using paint thinner, odorless mineral spirits, very similar to how I would with colored pencils. It works really well. You don't need a lot, so don't like glob it on there. But I really liked OMS with oil pastels. I kind of got out of using oil pastels. I used them for a while, but I got to where I was like, I don't like that they don't ever really dry all the way. But now lately I've been kind of getting interested in using them again because I used to teach oil pastels too. So I may have to invest in some, and we may have to do some lessons there because that sounds like fun to me. Kimberly said, why do paintings look creepy in person, especially the old portraits one? Oh my gosh, I have a portrait I'm working on right now that every time I walk by, I'm like, person whose name I'm not going to say because I don't want it outed that I'm working on the portrait because it's a surprise. I call him creepy person's name. Creepy. If his name was Bob, I'd be saying, stop staring at me, creepy Bob. Stop judging me for not finishing your painting, creepy Bob. Oh my God, it is at the creepiest stage you could imagine right now. I did it in a black and white. You guys on Patreon have the underpainting, black and white with acrylics. And then I started my normal color tones on top, but I forgot. So it's too pink. And when you put the pink on the gray, it has too much of almost a cool blue kind of look to it because of the gray. I need to counter that by using more oranges. And I know how to do it. It's just my first layer, I wasn't thinking about that. Creepy Bob is creepy Bob right now. Oh my God. So every time I'm like, stop judging me, creepy Bob. I'll finish your painting soon. So yes, I don't know what they look extra. Mine looks extra creepy because he kind of looks like a zombie right now with that gray undertone. But if the eyes are done well, it looks like they're following you. And I think that can be unsettling for some people. Velma said, so you like Star Trek, LL? No, I was never a fan of, I never was a huge fan of space things. The only space one that I really liked was Firefly. Best, one of my favorite shows of all time ever. I need to watch that again. I haven't watched it in a while. But yeah, I never really got into the space stuff that much. Let's see. Yeah, Joseph, he is not Baby Yoda, but I guess that's a better name than nothing. He's Baby Yoda. Kimberly says, gosh, everything Disney promotes blows up. Sometimes it's called good branding, even though it's bad. I hate Avengers so bad, but I didn't want to upset fans. I liked some Avengers, and then Thor turned into the biggest freaking pansy. I don't like what they did with his character. The movie, this is where people will really hate. I'm still waiting for that's probably good enough to dry. But we want more oranges. I'm going to do orange and mix a little bit of red oxide with it. And now that it goes over this, it should stand out really nicely. But the Thor, was it Thor Ragnarok? The one with the Hulk, weird Hulk, that whole, the set to me looked like something, the Hulkland or whatever he was in, I don't know what it's called, looked to me like something that high school kids put together, their little trash world. It looked so bad. Everything was just painfully stupid. The jokes were very did a 4-year-old write this? Really? They were that one was really bad. And the end of the movie was cool. But besides that, it was just so painfully bad. I absolutely hated it, if you can't tell. What was the other one? And then I didn't like what that character turned into anyway. Yeah, I wasn't, that was technically Thor, not Avengers, but I don't like him in Avengers either. Moving forward, my problem with Thor was the original ones, and don't worry, I shouldn't be doing any kind of spoilers. You should be fine if you haven't seen it. But they've been out for enough years, you should have seen it. The first two had a very different feel from it. And then when they went into the one with the Hulk and all of that, it's it's not the same character anymore, but you're using the same actor. And it's very this does not fluidly mesh from one movie to the next. It went from feeling serious and enjoyable, I liked it, into this is made for 4-year-olds. It felt like they got to where they did such a great, they're what was the one I did with Chris Pratt? those movies, Guardians of the Galaxy, those movies were so popular and everyone liked the group, like the humor, and it felt like they tried to bring that into Thor, but that's not what Thor had been, and it just did not. It was bad. That's my main Avengers and those characters movies complaints. Anyway, Susie said, wait, so how do you get normal skin tone after Grizel with grayscale? So with grayscale, instead of normally I would use like a pinkish, it's actually called flesh. I hope they renamed that because to me, when I hear the word flesh, I think zombies. I'm like, can we not use a creepy, like, not cute. But anyway, it's kind of like this creamy peach pink color. So it doesn't have enough peach in it. It's too pink. And when I put that up against the blue, I'm pulling it even closer to pink instead of really needing a warmer tone on top of that. So if I were to work with Grizel with brown tones, then that pink would be fine, or that pink flesh zombie color would be fine. But because I'm going up against gray, I've got to counter that a bit by using more with the orange, more red and orange tones instead of that pink, like if that makes sense. Let's see. Nathan Fillion is trying to get Firefly another season. He is amazing, but he is one of my favorite actors. Like, he's so funny. Let's see. Alana said, you like Buffy and Firefly? Yes, I loved Buffy. Yay, most person I know don't even know what Firefly is. But, oh, yes. Buffy was a huge, I love that. I really like Angel, but that got very weird. Like, the last season was not. The last couple of seasons weren't super enjoyable. But, yeah, I really, really did like Buffy. That's a fun show. Susan said, I'm currently doing a graphite portrait. I've conversations with them. What the heck is wrong with your eyes? Why is your hair doing that? My housemate thinks I'm loony and she's right. Oh, sorry, I didn't read that right. Let me read that again. So now that I'm like, what? You're having conversations with the client? What? That's mean. Don't tell them that. Susan said, I'm currently doing on a portrait. I have conversations with them, as in the portrait, saying, what the heck is wrong with your eyes? Why is your hair doing that? My housemate thinks I'm loony and she's right. That's hilarious. That is way funnier when I read it as you intended than my brain shutting down on me halfway through. Joseph said, Yoda is 500 years old at the time it takes place, so it's not Yoda. What? There's only one baby Yoda. Like, he's a baby version of Yoda. He could be named Yoda too. Don't you judge him. You know how many Lisas there are in this world? It doesn't mean that the new baby Lisa isn't a baby Lisa, because this Lisa's 50 years old. I'm not actually 50 yet, getting there. But baby Yoda. I'm going to so drive Joseph crazy with that. Kimberly said, you hated Game of Thrones so bad. Me too. You do not know how I invested a big amount of money to travel to the UK to see, to see the set. Oh, that sucks. And it's bad. I loved the game. I loved Game of Thrones. I think it was so fun. Like, I couldn't wait till next seasons. And then that last season, I don't mind as far as like the story, how the story ended. I mind the fact that they fit what should have been 2-3 seasons into 5 minutes. So it wasn't finished. They rushed it, and the writers they were done and didn't want to do it anymore. Even though was it HBO or whatever channel was like, we'll give you more time, we'll give you more money, we'll give you whatever. We're done, and they ruined it. And it's funny because when my husband and I'm gonna get some red in here too, mix red. Well, I had a little bit of yellow. When my husband and I see like merch and stuff on the shelves, it's like, they screwed that up so bad, because if that would have ended, like if they dragged that out for another couple of seasons, which I don't normally say with most shows. Normally it's like, okay, wrap it up. It's been long enough. But they needed a couple more to finish telling that story. And it's like, if they would have done that merch, like I would have been collecting it, and I would have wanted like the bobbleheads or the pop figures and all that. And now it's like, you can't give that stuff away. Okay, I'm gonna need to get some white. This is not showing up as much as I want for the brighter ones. And there is right now orange and red on my brush. I don't care. I'm just globbing this on. I just need to make it opaque enough that some of these brighter colors will really stand out. And I want to get a few different like brush strokes in here. Okay, we need that to dry. Let's see. Monica said, Ma said, where is her baby Gibson? She's missing seeing him. Turn over like Ambroise and Negrito. I don't know how to say that. I'm apologizing for butchering that. She's having a ball watching you, and she's got her cake. Oh, that is awesome. The nurse heard you say too many. That is, enjoy that cake. Oh my gosh, I love it. That makes me really happy. Yeah, let's see. We've got the cow. I don't know. Can you see them? I'm going to show you. Hold on. Being that I need that to dry anyway, we can take a quick Gibson and Wade break. There is Wade. He claimed that bed tonight. They're both being normal right now. I don't think I can make it so you can see Gibson. His bed is right behind that. I don't know if you can, yeah, I don't think you can see any of Gibson, but he's just sleeping normal. He's got his paw over his nose, but that's about it. Well, I'll get him to come say hi before we finish up tonight. Let's see. I'm like ridiculously happy that your mom got cake. Wait, my mom too, huh? She gets to be mine too. Wasn't that the deal? Let's see. Angel said it's Disneyland, Disneyfied Lisa. Yeah, that you're right. That's what they did to Thor. You were right. That is exactly. I did not think about that, and I hated it. Angel said different production company. It came from Paramount Pictures and then acquired to Disney. So there you go, a movie for 5-year-olds. That makes so much sense, and it sucks. Like, you don't have people talented enough to continue it, so it's like the same character. I don't. You ruined it. No, I mean, not you, but Disney. Gail said, we love Firefly catchphrase shiny. Yes, that and what was it? I ate a bug. Like, that still cracks me up. Or I swallowed a bug. I forget if it was I swallowed or I ate a bug. Somebody correct me because it's been too long and I don't remember it now, but I can always like see that. I love River. Let's see. And Jane is pretty hilarious. He's probably my next favorite. Velma said, Firefly is awesome. Have you seen Farscape? I have not. I've not even heard of it. Brent Desert says, real fans call him the child. I don't like Star Wars. I'm just not a... I know, everyone hates me that loves it. Watercolor Gypsy Art and Wellness said, what do you do when you are swamped with Christmas commissions? I'm so overwhelmed, I can't even, and I don't know how to manage my time. Oh, I remember those times, and I don't envy you right now. I'm still waiting for that to dry, by the way, because I could start getting some darks in there. It was rough. Like, for many, many years, I didn't really like Christmas time was just busy. It was just extra busy. I had so much to get done. So, and a lot of mine too was I didn't have money for Christmas gifts. So if I wanted a Christmas gift for somebody, I painted it. Kill birds with two stones. No, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's not make that difficult. Or just let's not kill the birds. But anyway, except the turkey that I'm going to make turkey sandwiches out of. Moving on. Somebody just got mad at me, I'm sure. Where was I going with that? So I had so many. I would be Christmas Eve still trying to finish Christmas presents on top of getting the commissions done. And so like Christmas time was just it was just that constant rush. Like it was exhausting. I don't really have tips for you because until I stopped taking commissions, that was just life. Christmas time, it was rough. Joseph said he has a name. The child. The child is not a name. Baby Yoda is a name. Watercolor Gypsy. Oh, wait. We got that one. Whoop, that just jumped. Kimberly said, and some of my friends would say, get over it, it's just a show, and I feel betrayed because I was invested. That's how I feel with most fandoms feel. Yeah, I am with you on that. It's like, we spent all of that time watching it and being excited for it, and then they did what they did. So get a little shadow here under this tree. And the shadow in here. We'll throw a little bit of that darker purple into the tree as well. But no, I totally, yep. And it was funny because some of the actors had made comments against the fans, like, oh, the fans are being dumb or whatever. I don't remember how they worded it, but that they just kind of dismissed it. And it's like, you're just mad that you went from being in what would have been one of the historically most, I imagine people would have bought the DVDs of that. Like everyone would be watching it. That would be such a big deal. And it got ruined by the writers. And now you're going to blame the fans for not liking it. And I feel bad for the actors. I mean, they invested. Can you imagine investing that much and then having the writers just trash the ending so no one appreciates your work at all? Like all those years of work, and it was like, now most people are just like, I'm out. I'm not watching that again. Kimberly said, I agree with buying refurbished items labeled as brand new. Isn't that illegal for deceiving the customer? Oh yeah, it's not legal. So I talked about that in a recent video. If you're like, what are you talking about? So if you saw my video talking about my tech gear and stuff, there are certain websites that sell refurbished. It's not the website itself. Actually, this I think I can easily say. It's like Amazon. You can buy directly from Amazon and it shouldn't be refurbished, but you get third-party sellers on there, and so you don't always tell who's the seller, like if you don't look for it. And that third-party seller, it is very, very common on certain things, especially tech stuff, to be selling you a brand new TV, which is actually a refurbished TV. But the best part is they're selling it for full price. You may as well have gone to Best Buy. You would have paid the same price, only had actual, like a warranty that would have lasted. So yeah, that's a real problem on Amazon. The other thing on Amazon, so it's called the Mia 2, is the face scrubby brush. I talked about that in the video. I want to say they're like 125, 150. I don't know. I got it for Christmas. If you get it from like Ulta or wherever, they're great. They're waterproof. Like they can go in the shower with you. You can scrub your face down when you gets your makeup out really good. And on Amazon, do not buy those on Amazon, because you are just as likely to get one that is fake as you are one that is real. And you're still paying full price either way. You're not even saving money buying it on Amazon. Like, why? So yes, it would be illegal. Prove it. That's what most people are not going to do. I didn't, and I've got a few things that I'm fairly certain were refurbished from them. So like, I won't buy from Amazon camera equipment unless it's like a lens filter. I don't know, whatever, that's fine. But like my main camera, lenses, anything that's more than a couple $100, I am not buying from Amazon when it comes to tech stuff, because that is so common. So story time, which I told in that video, but my friend Kendra, she bought a Wacom tablet that was like, I don't know, $1,200, $1,500. She got like the big expensive one, and it came and it didn't work. And so luckily Amazon got involved and they sent her a new one. That one did not work, and they didn't charge her. They were just like, keep it, whatever, we're out. And so she doesn't have one that works, but she did get her money back. As it turned out, Wacom does not, so Amazon handled it well. They got involved and she got her money back. Wacom does not sell on Amazon. So it's only third-party sellers that are selling refurbished full price as brand new. Wacom's not going to stand behind that warranty. So I don't recommend buying certain high-end electronics. Don't buy that on Amazon, because it is so like stupidly common. So not a good idea. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. And I talked about that in that video, because I was using the B&H affiliates and all that. I didn't want to get myself into any trouble. Sometimes affiliate stuff has weird rules. So just adding, I've got my nice little shadow there. Let's pull some of these darks in here. I don't want to go too crazy, but I do want to pull some of these in here. So these darks, this is the only area I have this deep, it's like magenta. It's a muddy mess. It's magenta, it's black, it's red oxide. There's probably some other colors just thrown in there because they were on my brush. They look black on here. They're not. In person, they definitely have more depth. It's more of a plum color, but the camera is picking it up almost black. But notice how that's almost just right here. You want the tree to be your center of attention? Not that much. We want to balance that out by pulling some of this up here. And I do kind of hate that that is showing up as black, because it's not. It's a deep plum. But yeah, watch for that. Let's see. Watercolor Gypsy and Art and Wallace said, and I have autoimmune too. Why do I feel like I missed part of your question? Here we go. I probably missed a bunch then. Oh, yeah. What do you do when you're okay? Yeah, talking about the commissions. Yeah, and that was my thing too. It's like you're exhausted. You've got the autoimmune. You're like, yeah, Christmas time is a rough time for artists. For when you've got the commissions, and it's like I was always grateful to have them, but I don't miss that. That's for sure. There are definitely some good things about doing commissions, but it is exhausting. I'm just randomly kind of like, what would balance this out? And look, what do I think looks nice? Throwing a few of these in there. I'm not going to likely put much back there. Maybe a little bit in here. Do a little bit along the edge of the road. Not too much. There we go. Let's see. Whoop, come back, Monica. Where were we? Oh, I'm missing a bunch. Hold on one second. There we go. Monica said, you made mom really happy for that. She's telling the nurse you're her other daughter that always lets her be a little bad. You two are funny. I love sharing her with you. Thank you. I appreciate that our mom taught you to share. How's that? There we go. Let's see. Watercolor Gypsy Art and Wellness said, and my own new channel. Yeah, you've got a lot. It's busy. And it's worth it, but I mean, I'm glad that I worked through that, but I also am like, I'm still busy all the time. Now I'm just busy year round, but with the channel. But yeah, trying to do all of that. I wasn't doing so much, like by the time that YouTube for me really took off, I stopped doing commissions. I wasn't doing much with that. So that certainly helped for me. And that was kind of the thing for me with commissions that made it, I couldn't do both YouTube and provide the customer service necessary to keep customers happy with doing commissions. So that was really when I decided I can't do commissions anymore. Like when YouTube got super busy. Let's see. And I mean, occasionally I still take them, but it's usually like someone I know personally that knows it's good, like the Bob that I'm painting back here. That is it creepy Bob stage. But I wish I could show you, but I'm afraid I just don't want the person seeing it. So anyway, yeah, they know it's going to be a while for me. Let's see. Anna said, do you take? Oh, here you go. Do you take commissions these days or not anymore? Yeah, it pretty much just if I know somebody. It is rare. Every once in a while, I had the most random, I had a painting on my website, been there for years. I mean, I painted in 2015, I think, 2016, right around there. It's been there for a very long time. An owl. It sold to somebody in Australia over the weekend. Not this weekend, but this was over the summer. Some of you remember this story. But it sold to someone on Australian. So with international buyers, I mean, I can't ship internationally at all right now because the whole COVID thing is just messing up shipping. But it sold to somebody over there or in Australia. But in order to do that, I had to get a quote for him with shipping, and it doesn't allow it to pull it off the site. I have to manually go in and do it because he's got to pay me directly since it's not set up to just the way the site was is for international stuff. So he already claimed it. I think he had already paid for it too. I just hadn't, or maybe I was still doing the back and forth on the payment. So, or getting the prices and all that. The next day, so I'm still working with him. Somebody bought it straight off my website. It's like, that has been there for you. It's been there for years and suddenly it sold twice. What? I didn't expect, that was my fault, but it wasn't something I thought was an issue because that painting's been there for years. No one really? The painting was hanging on my own wall. I had it so long, I was quite attached. But anyway, yeah, so in that case, I did, for the person who bought it the second time, I did a custom, I will do something like another owl for you. Some of you guys have seen it with the blue background, and it was, which owl did I do on that one? Was it an eagle owl, I think? But I'll make exceptions like that because I needed to make the person who bought it the second time, I had to I can either refund the money or I can do a custom one for you. So I needed to make it right by her. So that would be an exception for me too. Let's see. Paul said they done my Danny bad. The look on how disheveled she looked after Miss I can't say the names because I can never pronounce names, was decapitated, done dirty. Yeah, and it could have worked if it was stretched out and explained more. They didn't. Her descent into madness should have happened over time, not in the period of 2 episodes. That didn't make, it just didn't. Yeah, you are right. It makes sense to me that she went mad, just not in 2 episodes, Leah said, read all the Game of Thrones books. I never watched the show. I was afraid they would butcher it. Oh, there you go. Monica said, we were so invested in Game of Thrones and that had Ma throw something at the TV when we think it needed a few seasons more. Yep. That is funny. She deserves more cake for that because I appreciate it. Kimberly said, do you still love California? I do not. I never loved I love parts of California. I should say that. But I've never missed it since I moved. I thought I would. And the first time I went back to visit, I was like, oh, I'm going to be all nostalgic. I remember going here as a teenager and I remember this. I miss it. I did not miss it. The people behave different. Like, it is weird. I mean, you have obviously good people in California, but like the overall how people treat strangers in California is very different than how they treat them here in Texas. And I definitely, although everyone from California is moving here, so it's going back to California apparently, or that mindset. But I really I like Texas. There are beautiful areas of California, but there are pretty areas here too, and friendlier people. But no, I've never like been one who really loved California. I mean, it was all I knew. So I loved the beaches. I loved the mountains. That was it. Let's see. Rose said, would you do this landscape as in realism, or would this be more likely to be a background for an animal? This one would make this one could be done for realism because the center of focus is this tree. I don't think it needs an animal to be this. Like, I would have to take that out to make it, or make it blurry. I don't know. This one's a little bit different. I think it makes a good standalone because that tree is your focus. Whoop, that just jumped. Wow, thank you so much, 1SGWW, for the super chat. You are amazing. Thank you. You're amazing. Oh my gosh. Super chat goosebumps. And nope, not crying. It's not. I'm holding. Why does that? Okay, good. I stopped. It didn't. It started and we're good. My eyes start to like tingle and I'm like, I'm not on a live stream. Please don't cry on a live stream. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Where are we? Jason said, Lacey, you need a teleprompter for your videos that you make. Huh? I don't know where you're going with it. I feel bad, Jason. I don't understand like half of your questions. I'm like, what? I don't know where you're going with that. Irritated Paintbrush said, this looks so gorgeous. Thank you. We're going to get some more brights in that tree still. Whoops, that just jumped again. There we go. Angel said, but do you think someone would snap instantly like Danny did? It can happen. Okay, so as far as mental illness, like schizophrenia, that can kind of happen like 19, 20, around that age. Like if we want to get into like psychology and stuff, you can have someone have kind of a breakdown where they can snap. But in this case, I don't think it worked with that character. I think in this case, it was intended to be like they were showing the things that led up to her snapping, but it happened too quickly. And it's like, I think that could have been dragged out a little, like that needed to be explained a bit better. Like, could it happen? Yes. It just didn't work in the show, I don't think. Okay. I'm going to get some just bright orange and let that really stand out on top. I'm just going to glob that over some of these white areas. And I've got to come back through with some blues too. I want a little bit of that sky showing through. Jason said, Lisa, in Game of Thrones, Dany was going crazy from the second season. And that's where I don't think they did enough of, they didn't develop that well enough. If they were going to say you did it from the second season, or, you know, they should have developed it more, because it was too stark of a contrast between then and then that instant, I'm going to burn the whole city down. Like, it was too quick, I think, of the way, like, they would have little hints, but not quite what that sudden, like, well, and here's the thing. We can try to justify it all we want, but we know the reality is the like HBO and all of them, they said we can drag this out for longer. They knew it needed to be told, you know, it should be told more. And the writers were bored and didn't want to do it. They're like, no, we're done. We're done. We're just going to rush it into a short thing. We know that's what happens. So it's like, we can try to justify, but they led up to, no, it didn't. They were done and they got bored and they stopped doing it. Weren't they supposed to write, like, direct or write or something like that, a Star Wars thing or something, and that got canceled, which they deserved. But that's, maybe they wanted to write about Baby Yoda, Joseph. But it was just not well done. And we know that, and we know why it wasn't well done. And so, yeah. Angel said, shock value done bad. Yes. Oh, almost spilled my coffee. It's okay, little coffee. You're fine. Okay. Let's see. What do I want still in this guy? Oh, I wanted to do a little bit more with the sky and a little bit more. We've still got a few minutes. Yeah, Nick said she was a Targaryen. Madness was always nearby. And I agree with that. but I don't think they let up. Like they just too night and day on that. Yeah, that's what Clark Feiner said. Didn't they have another project they were supposed to go to and they cheated everyone on Game of Thrones? That's exactly what happened. And that's why people were so mad. Like it, and again, it's not that it ended that she went crazy. It's not that who became the king. It's not like any of that. It's that they didn't tell the story. They were just like, all this detail, all this lead up, all like they told the story in such a well done way. And then at the end, and they're like, oh, and by the way, and this happened in the end. Like that it didn't work. Okay. Let's see, what did I want? I think the sky needs some more contrast. So what I'm going to do, and I may regret this, let's find out. I'm going to take that plum that I was using, that dark color. I'm going to add a little bit of black. Let's get that plum, that plum color. It may be too dark. I don't know. I'm going to try two different ones. Let's try that with a little bit of white. What does that look like? Let's find out. Yes, I like it. Okay, so what I've done, I've got my plum, which is the deep violet. I added a bit of my red oxide and black and white. And so the black and the white is what gives it that kind of grayish tone. But I want to follow this through. I feel like the sky doesn't feel fall enough. It doesn't hold this in there. And so I want to pull, I want to get that like really swirly look anyway. I'm going to pull a little bit. I liked the sky, and the reason that I wanted to go with a blue sky on this to stay with that is that I did want that orange tree to like really pop, have that complementary color. But I also feel like the sky doesn't feel like it's a part of this. So by pulling this color is down in here. Let's bring these together a bit. Is it sad that I'm all excited when the live stream is over? I get to go watch sleeping baby frogs. If I turn the lights on here, maybe they'll wake up. It said it can take a couple of days after them traveling to like kind of get used to their new house and start being more active at night. They're nocturnal. They're adorable. We named them after Murlocs from World of Warcraft. Pull this color a little in here too. Okay, let's see. Velma said, I thought Danny was starting to go crazy when she stayed in the funeral fire with the dragon eggs in her family. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not that it wasn't happening. It was that it was too stark because that was obviously intended by the main writer for this to go on more time. And the other writers were like, we don't have time. We're just gonna jump to the end. We're not gonna tell this. We're missing this huge chunk. We're not gonna tell it. So that's why I'm not saying it wasn't supposed to happen. I'm saying the way that they did it was badly done. Farah said, hi, Lisa, hi, how do you choose your red paints? For instance, would you suggest rose madder? I don't even know what color I have out right now, honestly. Whatever happened to be here, because it didn't matter. This one was I can never say that. Alizarin, I'm not saying that right. Crimson hue is what I'm using today. I think that's what that one is. I don't know. That one's kind of more of a magenta. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm using, no, I probably am. No, it could be Naphthol Crimson. My husband is swearing a bit too much for me live streaming. I'm going to have to talk to him about that. It probably isn't picking up though. He's working. I'm not sure why he's swearing that much while he's working. Let's see. How do I choose my red? Honestly, I don't place that much importance on the color. I place kind of. If I want an orangey red, I'm going to choose one that just does more orange, or I'm going to take the red I have and whatever I'm too lazy to get up and get and add more yellow to it to make it more of an orangey red. I mean, it depends on what it is. I don't have like a set, like in this case, I'm going to use that red. Like it's not that important. What I care about are my values. Are my darks dark enough? My lights light enough? That is what matters to me. So you can't see, this has a weird, it is not showing the plum that I put through here. It is all in here and it does not show on that. That is weird. Like I can't even get that to show. You can kind of see here where the darks are. Those dark ones are the plum that are not showing at all. That is so odd. But no, I focus more on my values. Are my darks dark enough? My lights light enough? That is what matters. And I grab a red. And if I grab a red and I'm like, ooh, this one's a bit too purpley, I grab a red that's not so purpley. That is the extent of my thought process. Let's see. Paul said, as much as I hated that 5th episode, the cinematography was magnificent. Oh, I'll give you that. Absolutely. I feel like everyone, actors, everyone other than the writers put everything they had into it. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough because the writing was bad. No, I agree completely. I totally see Danny would burn that stinking place anyway. California feels like the King's Landing, don't you think? Oh, sometimes it sure does. Some areas for sure. Let's see. Jason said, Lisa, I meant because the video that you posted for your equipment that used in your videos was what I was referring to the teleprompter for. Oh, yeah. See, so teleprompter, like somebody said, and it was a good suggestion, like you should put it on film over the windows when you know, it'll make it look really good when I record. That's extra work. I'm not doing it. Like I have to keep, I have to keep things fairly simple in the recording process, or I'm just not going to do it. I want to get a little bit of this in the tree. I'm just not going to, like, if it takes too much work to set up, I just end up not making the video, and that's been a problem of mine. This is not the right brush. That's why that didn't work. I'm just not going to record if it takes me too much time. So I have to find ways to do it easily. Yeah, it'll look better if I do a lot of things differently than what I do. It'll sound better if I do a lot of things differently than what I do. But you have to balance, how much time do I have to get something done? And am I going to do the best, most amazing thing in the world, or am I going to just get something that actually it's good enough? It could be better, but you know, you have to balance. I guess that goes with art too. We can hit a point where it's like we don't accomplish anything because we think everything has to be the most amazing, perfect thing in the world. And sometimes good enough is good enough. We can easily put a bit too much, I think, to where we're not accomplishing anything. I mean, I've seen artists who they will take a year to get an entire one painting done. You're going to have a really hard time as an artist staying relevant if you're getting one painting done a year. So, you know, you've got to place it, figure out where your priorities are on some of that stuff. And for me, like the ND filter one was a great suggestion for the windows in here. I'm not changing that. I can't leave it up all the time because I need the normal light for my plants. And I am not going to put up and take down one more thing. Like I won't even, I have good lighting, like a big ring lighting thing to get good, decent lighting for me. How do I even set that up? I'm too lazy. I'm not going to do it. So I use outdoor lighting and go, good enough. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me if you see me super clear and looking like I'm on a camera. I'd rather you not, then you can see all the wrinkles. But it's not that big of a deal. I want you to see the painting accurately. But as far as like, it's better to me if audio is okay and then the painting is, that film is good. So I don't know. I think that we often, the same thing like teleprompter, that sounds like work. I am definitely not going to set that up. I used to take so many notes before I'd start filming. I would spend hours just writing things out exactly. I don't know. I just ramble. Whatever comes out is what comes out. I'll just correct it on screen after the fact. I sound like an idiot while I'm doing it, but at least I'm getting something done versus taking forever. Well, I took forever on that, but yeah. Let's see. Rose said, it looks like leaves are blowing in the wind. Yay, good. That is what I want. And also when I looked at the camera, I see this is a little too blue. I'm going to break that up just a bit here. Serving Artist Collective said, if your frogs are nocturnal, do you need to switch the lights off at night? Wouldn't artificial light confuse them? Yeah, they will get, well, right now they're not in their proper setup, but their setup, the big one, yes, that has the main lights that are good enough for like growing plants. They're like good LEDs. It is going to be a noticeable difference from them when they go off. And I go to bed in a couple of hours, so they'll be in the dark anyway. But yes, artificial lighting would confuse them, but in this case, their current in here, this is temporary. And then where their main tank is, it'll be much darker. Like it'll just be ambient lighting, distant in the room, but not like over their tank where they have a definite, this is daytime versus those lights go off and they're like, it's clear that it's nighttime to them. Jason said, Lisa, my frog legs are their cool dinner time. If they wake up tonight, I'll try to feed them. But yes, no, they're not frog legs. They're Murlaco, Sir Finley Murgleton, Murky, and what was the last one? Captain Cookie. World of Warcraft players will know those names. Let's see. Whoop, that just scrolled too far. Almost done here. Paul said, I must say the show peaked at season 4 and then it went downhill after that. Yeah, definitely, unfortunately. Vilma said, like, one of them, it was weird, like, what was his name? The Ice King guy, the Frost King, I'm thinking Lich King. But, like, the way that ended was so anticlimactic for the buildup. Like, that's how you went down? Really? Like, I mean, I guess, fine, whatever. Let's see. Vilma said, the only regret I have about Game of Thrones is not following up on Arya Stark. See, and that was the other thing. I was really hoping, like, and that character, like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I mean, her character was so cool and should have been more, and I was really hoping that they would go off into it. Like, they talked about doing an offshoot with just, you know, her story moving forward or whatever, and then they didn't, and it sucks. I wish they would have, because it's like, that could have kind of fixed some of it for me. Because that could have been a way to finish this, almost to tell more about what, I don't know. They could have done something with that, and they didn't, and it sucks. I was not happy. I just need to break this up a little bit. I have too much of more of a line there than I want. There we go. That works. And that is it for this painting. Hey, 10:04, I'm not that late. Let's get a couple last questions, and we will be done. Oh, only one last question. Apparently, Angel said, why do some people take a year or two to finish? Or some paintings take a year or two to finish? I mean, it depends on how much detail. There's so many factors. How fast is the artist? How fast do they work? How much time do they put into it? How much detail did they want? Like, there's so many factors that could make a painting take that long. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I'm also saying you're going to have a hard time staying relevant to where people are buying your stuff if you're spending in so long on one piece. Like, how much would you have to sell that piece for to make it, to pay for a year's worth of income? And then you're not, how are you going to promote that? How are you going to, like, I have new paintings all the time, and I'm not saying you need to get that many done, but, you know, when you have new paintings all the time, you're keeping relevant on social media. And while maybe in the past spending years on one painting worked, back before social media, now it's like, you have to stay relevant. You have to post constantly. And if you don't have new work very often, you know, that you're not going to, I don't know how you plan to make that happen. So that's, yeah. Oh, Rose said puppy. Yes. Gibson, Wade, come here. You guys want to come say hi? Come here. Wade, come here. Come on. I know, lazy boys. Come on. Here. Come say hi. Come on. There's Gibson. Oh, and Wade just flipped over onto his back. I think that was our answer from him. You don't want to get up, Wade? Hi, Gibson. You could say hi then. Hold on. My Fitbit's all messed up. Hello, he is my boy, huh? Oh, you're my favorite boy. Where's, here, come here, other favorite boy. Wade, come here. Wade, come say hi. Oh, my boy. Yeah, he's my boy, huh? Come here, Wade. Hello, good boy. Him did not want to get up, huh? Oh, I know, him is bad cow. Look at that bad cow. Such bad cow. Oh, gotta scratch the head. Can you see him? Yeah, there you go. Scratch him's head. Oh, yes, that's bad cow. Yes. He gets all excited when I call him a bad cow. That's like, I guess normal people are like, you're such a good boy. I say, you're a bad cow, which is funny because he's not a bad dog at all. So, him is bad cow. He thinks that's a positive thing. Oh, got itches right there. Yes, that is bad cow. Hi, Gibson. Oh, the good boys. So, there are my dogs. Yeah, that's good boys. Let's see. We'll wrap this up. Oh, got a couple more questions. Leah said, love the painting. Thanks for another great stream. Thank you for joining. And thank you. Let's see. Sarah said, I think sometime this week I'll glaze blue over my sky and orange over my tree so there's more contrast between the two. Ooh, that'll be pretty. I think that'll look nice. Paul said, an even area killing the Night King was corny to me. Yeah, see, the way it was done, like it could have been done. I think that's perfect for how, like she should. I don't want spoilers, but you guys know. I mean, you knew we were talking about it. It was not done well. It was so like climactic. Vladimir said, if I'm making a series of works for a class, what do you think I should think? What do you think should I think about to make it cohesive? It doesn't. So a series, that's an interesting question. So a series can be anything. The series can be based off colors. You're using a certain color, like you guys see me use like aqua as an outline for a lot of stuff. I could do a series where every subject was totally different, but everything had that aqua line outlining portions of it. That could make it cohesive to a series. The series could be based off a theme. It could be based off, it could be based off anything. You just need to find an element that is kind of running through that you can fit through. Like, let's say I could have the theme be a moon. Each painting could be so completely different. Like the moon on one painting might be the center of a flower, but on another painting, it's actually in the sky. Another painting, it's a rock in the middle of a stream. It could be anything, having something, I'm just throwing out random ideas right now off the top of my head, that having some element that runs through. It doesn't have to just be like my theme, my series is based on tigers. They all have to be tigers. You can do more, you can get more creative than that on making something that's very cohesive. You just have to pull an element that kind of fits, even if the paintings aren't all the same, is an option. Jason said, I saw an interview with Sophie Turner for Dark Phoenix, and he focused on her, and it was funny. I don't see many interviews. The only interviews I really saw were, what was the girl who played Captain Marvel, who was like the most unlikable person in interviews ever? Like, even it's not looked like even the other actors didn't want to talk to her. She was so unlikable. That's all the only interviews I saw, and it was because of how unlikable she was. No, that's not totally true, because I've seen interviews with who played Daenerys. Why can't I think of her name right now? With her, and she was like, in contrast, super likable. So it was kind of interesting. Let's see. Velma said, thank you for sharing your art process. I can't talk. Thank you to the mods. Thank you. And yes, thank you to the mods. Make sure to check out their channels. Links are in the video description. Vladimir said, thank you so much. That helps. Yay, good. Okay, 10:10. We're done. You're looking at me. You think we're going on a walk, but we're not. We went rollerblading earlier. Gibson is not understanding that the weather has changed, and now we do daytime walks and rollerblades instead of nighttime every night. We usually walk, and now we can't, and he does not. He thinks he should go on 2 now. He doesn't care that he already went running. He wants to go now. So he's standing there staring at me with chatter teethers. Greyhounds do this thing where they it's almost like they're cold. Their teeth start to chatter when they get excited. He's trying to be patient. He's also super excited, and I feel bad for him. We're not walking. It's too cold. That puppy face isn't going to work. Anyway, I will see you guys on Friday. We're drawing a purple flower in colored pencil. I'm going to be using the gray Canson Me Tans again, and yeah, that is it. I'll see you guys Friday. Bye.